Divorce happens. In fact, it happens to almost 50% of first marriages. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Divorce Happens, a podcast to educate, inspire, support, and yes, make you laugh through divorce and beyond so that you can start fresh on the next phase of your journey. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh.
You get divorced. You get divorced.
Getting divorced?
I'm getting a divorce.
You're getting a divorce.
Because she's getting a divorce.
So what if I get divorced?
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Divorce Happens, the show where we support you before, during, and after divorce with education, inspiration, and a little bit of laughter. Because as we know, divorce happens and then you start fresh. And we're here with like the queen of divorce herself. You're like, I don't know. How many people have you probably talked to about divorce over the last decade, Kate?
I could
Millions?
not.
I mean, millions. Yeah, millions.
Well, yeah, with the podcast, probably millions.
Yeah, millions.
I don't know.
Well, if you don't know this already, we're here with the amazing Kate Anthony, who she was on my dream guest list, and I'm just thrilled to have her here today. Kate, can you tell the people who you are?
Oh, yes. I am a divorce coach and a podcast host. My podcast is the Divorce Survival Guide podcast. And I work with women who are either contemplating going through the should I stay or should I go process, all the way through the divorce process. As a divorce coach, I sort of bridge the gap between your therapist and your attorney, right?
Yeah.
Taking the things that you've learned in therapy about yourself and then putting them into action, and then working strategically with your attorney. Because once you get divorced, one of the things you want to do is get it done, get it done, get it done. And as soon as you hire an attorney, they want to get it done, get it done, get it done. And that is sometimes the worst thing that you could possibly do. So we've got to work on processing what's happening while also creating a strategy to get you through this in the best possible way, in the least combative possible way. Putting your kids at the center of all of your decisions.
Absolutely. I'm such a huge fan and proponent of divorce coaches. Do you work one-on-one still with people? I know you do so many things.
Yep.
Okay, that's great to know.
Do. Yeah, I have a group. I try to keep things at all kind of price points and accessibility levels.
Yeah.
So I work privately, and I have a group coaching program for women going through divorce. And I have online programs.
I was going to say, for anybody listening, I need you to understand, like, for years, anytime somebody was going through a divorce, there was one name that came up, which is Kate Anthony. And so that was the person that you went to for all your divorce support. So you truly know every aspect of divorce, including being a divorced person yourself.
That's right.
And so one of the things I love to at long time ask people is, Kate, what are the 3 lessons or things that more than 3, what are 3 of the lessons you learned from your own divorce?
I would say the first one, some of these are things I did wrong. And over the years have realized, that's where that went wrong. So I'm going to hopefully try and save you a little time. The first is, while you may want to be, quote, best friends with your ex once you get divorced, and you may want to, go on vacations together and yada, yada, all that stuff, don't do it at first. Please take time to, number one, individuate, right? The more boundaries, the better. I prefer people to start off parallel parenting and move into co-parenting if your healed self or healing self chooses that option down the road. Right? Do you want to be friends with this person? Right? And sometimes when we're getting divorced and we have kids, we're like, it's best for the kids. It's actually confusing to the kids, especially younger kids, when you say, as we did with my son, who was 3 at the time we divorced, and we said, listen, mommy and daddy are having a hard time getting along, and so we're going to live in separate houses, and we're still going to be a family, but a different kind of family, blah, 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 blah. And then mommy and daddy got along so well. And he was like, okay, cool. So now you guys get along. So
Right.
let's get back together. A 3-year-old is not going to understand that the reason we're getting along is because we're separated. Um, all he saw was, okay, we're getting along. So now
Right.
we can be a family again. So it was actually very confusing for him. And there's a sort of a ripping the Band-Aid off thing to this. We're always wanting to protect our children and protect ourselves from the harshness of the separation.
Yeah.
But really, there is almost a kindness and a clarity in ripping that Band-Aid off, especially for smaller kids who don't understand the deeper complexities and conceptual aspects that are at play
Yes.
here.
For sure. I love that. I've never heard somebody talk about co-parenting in the transition from parallel parenting to co-parenting. I really love that because I think it's so
Mhm.
important because we group co-parenting in our head as like that means you're parenting together, but there's different ways to do that, and I think that that's really important to know.
There are. And look, we have so much healing to do. And, you know, you should do that on your own, right? And
Yeah.
become that sort of strong, independent, fully fledged human being on your own. And then choose who you actually want to bring into this next phase of your life.
Right. Right. And what a beautiful decision to make, right?
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But it's and I did this myself. It's so easy to fall back into old patterns to be like, oh,
Oh,
we're just going to chat on the phone. We're just going to, yeah.
well, right. And then you leave yourself vulnerable to all of the stuff that
Yeah.
happened that got you here so right. So what the thing, this leads me kind of to my second thing, which is
Yeah.
similar in tone, but it's that, we get legally divorced, we get financially divorced, we get physically divorced, all of that stuff. Often forget to get emotionally divorced. And I want you to get, and that's the hardest, right? When you're falling into those same patterns, you are continuing to hurt yourself or your ex in the same ways that you did for all of those years. And it's the reason, like, why bother? Why
Yeah.
bother? Why are
Yeah.
we going to go through all this other rigmarole if we're actually not going to uh, emotionally separate and psychologically separate? And that takes a long time. Those habits and those patterns are look, if you've been with someone for 20 years, 10, 20, 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to take a long time to sever the patterns that don't work. There are certain things that do work, right? But you can choose them later,
Right.
right?
Right.
My ex and I, right, we did this 100% wrong and we dove into being best friends, and it was a continuation of the toxic relationship that we had. It was continuing to put me in the hot seat of his abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And it was less it was less often, but we still had these acute flare-ups, right?
Right.
And now we have a great relationship. It's been 16 years, and
Mm-hmm.
people often say like, "Oh, I want the kind of relationship you guys have." Well, we have this relationship because we also went through 3 years of not speaking. We went through a
Right.
lot of, hardship. And, eventually I've sort of chosen the aspects of our relationship that really did work, right? He's
Mm.
hilarious. We have so much fun and we laugh uproariously together. We've got 25 years of history and inside jokes.
Right.
And I don't want to let those go, right? So I invite them back in my life
Mm.
intentionally.
Kate, I love this so much. I've never heard anybody talk about that. And what a beautiful story you get to write, right, with
Mhm.
this person. And
That's right.
you don't have to lose all those memories because that's something that I know is very hard for me. It's like he was the only one that was there when my kids were born, like, and I lost that, right? And, I think my own parents are a great example of this. They got divorced when I was 10. They had a not good relationship for many, many years. And now they're awesome grandparents together, right?
That's
And they've come,
my parents too. Yep.
right.
Yep.
It comes back around and but I think you have to take that step back. I love that. I love that so much. What's the last thing today you're going to share with us that you learned?
I learned who I am, right? And I wish I had a 20-second soundbite on that, but I did. I learned who I am. Um, it's the hardest transition. It is, gut-wrenching on all the levels, but I learned that I, first of all, am so much stronger than I ever knew that I was. I'll never forget, I had a friend when I was married, and she took me aside one day and she said, "I want you to know that you are so much more powerful than you think." And I had no idea what she was talking about because I was so disconnected from myself. I was so deeply um, dissociated,
Yeah.
really. Um, and I was like, this does not compute. And this is something somebody said to me 20 years ago. It has never left me. I have never stopped thinking about it because it has always been like, yeah, I get that now. I get it
Yeah.
now. And if you feel like you are the kind of person who feels dissociated, who feels disconnected because the life that you're living just doesn't line up with what you feel like you know yourself to be somewhere inside you,
Yeah.
or if people are saying things about you and to you that just feel so like, what? Um, oh, I want to tell you that over time, you will come to know yourself as the thing that people kind of intuit about you.
Mm.
Um, it's a long road, but if you do the work and you focus in, you will get there. You really will.
I love it so much. Kate, if somebody is interested in working with you, how can they get in touch?
My website is the best place to go. It's kate@kateanthony.com, and you'll see all the options. There's a should I stay or should I go tab. There's a getting divorced tab,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a private coaching tab. So
Great.
all my options are there. My group coaching program is called Phoenix Rising, and it's just a beautiful place um, to really understand that you're not alone,
Yeah.
and also to recognize that, oh my gosh, not only are you not alone, but also, especially, I deal with a lot of domestic abuse, a
Mm.
lot. Um, and what the women learn in Phoenix Rising is not only are they not alone, but that they're all the same. Their spouses are all the same.
Yeah. I know. It's
Right?
wild. I
And
know.
it's wild when you talk
Yeah.
to as many people as we have that you
Yeah.
realize like, oh
I
my
see that on
God,
my
they're
Instagram comments all the time. Someone's like, "Were you married
uh-huh,
to the same guy as me?" I'm like,
exactly.
"They're textbook."
Their
Yeah. Yeah.
textbook. I just dropped a podcast episode called "If There's a Playbook for Them, There's a Playbook for You."
Ooh, that gives me
Because
chills.
it's right, because their playbook, when you're in it, you don't know that they're all the same and they're operating out of the same playbook. And then once you get the playbook, you're like, oh wait, so I now can map
Yeah.
what my playbook is.
That damn
So
playbook. Where did that playbook come from,
mhm.
Kate? That is, I know. I know.
How long
It's
do you have, honey?
Yeah, well, we'll have you back to talk about that. Amazing, amazing. Kate, before we let you go, if somebody is listening to this considering divorce or going through divorce, what would be some wise words that you could leave them with today?
I think the most important thing that I want everyone to know is that you deserve to be happy, that toxicity and unhappiness does not have to be the default state for your relationship, especially for women. Um, there's also men, right? But right now, there is a larger percentage of women who are exiting toxic relationships. And, we don't have to live that way. We really don't. And the other thing I want people to know, women in particular are really afraid of being alone. And they're afraid of like, what if I don't ever meet anyone else? And I want to say that, first of all, if you don't, that's great. If you become the kind of person that is so sure of who you are that somebody who is not perfect for you does not get through the door, then you have won at life.
Mm,
And they just might show up. but only if you are holding that space for yourself. Divorce is the biggest boundary you can possibly set, and you got to hold it for all future relationships.
Love that. What a way to end. Love that line. I'm going to clip that one out. Kate, I appreciate you so much and all the work that you've done. And I know
Thanks,
how much
Olivia.
time and energy it takes to support and navigate with women going through this. And I'm sure you feel so much for every single person that you talk to. And,
I do.
you know, but your friend was right. You have more power than you even know, because look how many lives you've changed, right, over these last couple decades that you've been working with people.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here and for all of your wise words. Always, please go check out Kate's podcast, which I'll put in the show notes, and her website. And we just appreciate you, Kate. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having me, Olivia. It's been a pleasure.
Divorce Happens is produced by Fresh Starts Registry, the only divorce registry platform for everything you need to begin again, including home items, hype team, and everything in between. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh. We're here to support you before, during, and after divorce. Head to freshstartsregistry.com for more info.